like a new woman, because let me tell you something.
What's happening?
Okay, the wine has arrived. The liquor's here. All right, set the mood.
Okay, so...
All right, starting off with, hey, D, what's up?
Hey. It's 20... Oh, shit. This is going to be our first episode of the year.
All right, Happy New Year, guys.
Right, Happy New Year.
It's now 2016.
It's episode 19.
Wow.
Word.
Episode 19. Happening in January 2016.
Right. So this is D.
And this is C, a.k.a. Wawa. And this is Black Meets World. Hey, guys. Happy New Year.
You're out of control.
You know what? I'm just feeling really good right now.
You took the lead for the first time in 19 episodes.
First of all, let me explain something. You're not going to come for me this early. It's the first episode of the new year. Anyway, we didn't even start the podcast yet.
We have some guests. We have 4 guests with us.
We got a lot of guests. You know, I try to keep the head count down because
name tags?
Yeah.
I'm finished.
Because D would have
my name tag.
given me a side eye had I invited any more people.
Yeah, because it's just so much. Okay, well, to my left we have E.
Say hello.
Yeah, that's the part where you say something about yourself.
All right.
Skip.
Yeah.
Off to a good start.
He's here.
You also
I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I think you guys have... I got to hear one of the podcasts that you guys, did before, one that really caught my eye, which was We Need a Revolution.
Oh, that was a good one.
So, I took some notes on that, so I really wish that I was a part of that one, and so hopefully, I can add to this one.
Yay, thank you. Can I just pause for a moment and say that means a lot? Because, not like most of my friends, but like, yeah, girl, I'm going to listen. 8 months go by.
But you named an episode that's from a long time.
Hold on, wait. Can I pause Wawa for a second? Because I kind of feel the same way about like these happy hours, but that's neither here nor there.
So Ray, go ahead and crank it up then. Ray, introduce yourself.
I guess I'll start with I had one
I've never been
for my birthday. She's talking throw people under the bus. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I haven't seen her in a happy hour in a year.
Hey Ray, it's been so long.
So Ray won.
It's not like we live on the same block.
Introduce him correctly. The honorable.
Now this.
Yo, the honorable.
Oh man.
My name is Tommy because I ain't got no job, but I keep a nice place, a nice big old brownstone. Several places. I'm sorry. And he drives luxury vehicles. Driving luxury vehicles. God bless you.
What is the number you're supposed to dial when you smell gas? Is it 311?
Listen.
Ray, why are they coming for you like that?
Well, I tried to defend myself, but then you jumped on a bandwagon a second ago. This is always. That's why I had to get her.
Why do you call you the honorable?
So what happens is,
I just wanted you to introduce yourself, and I have you next. Don't worry, you were down the line. I was,
I'm Ray. I am a social worker in the South Bronx, and I just, when I grow up, aspire to be like Wawa and Lynn over here. That's my goal in life. Like that's life goals.
It's all of our goals.
Because Wawa lives on the tarmac, which is amazing, and Lindsay works for celebrities. So
we also have T here.
Nah, T's here. I'm from New York. I went to school in New York, and that's all you get.
And you still live in New York. There we go.
No, because I know this is going to end up being played at an interview one day. So
no, it's not.
I'm going to walk in, I'm going to sit down. They're going to be like, oh, so Black Meets World, huh?
This you sound like
you sound like
if
you,
you're
right?
famous enough for that,
we will
have your back. That's all I can say.
Don't worry, we'll hire you. You can do our IT and all that other
Oh,
things.
yes.
Or you just freelance for free. So now going over to Lynn. Hey, girl.
Hey. So I'm Lynn. I'm from Virginia. I live in Harlem now. I love it. And I work on a television show doing social media.
What's that television show called?
What's that
television show called?
It's just a little show. Y'all
little
something.
Too many details.
Oh, too many details. We can't say that. Oh, yeah.
I slept with 18 guys, and I'm still not sure who the baby father is.
Well, let me put it out there. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well,
so yeah.
What show was that? Wendy?
A Kardashian?
Maybe Maury. I don't know. Oh, did I say it?
Where's the rule book?
16 and pregnant.
Oh man.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Team
Okay, so
we have a lot to talk about today.
There's so many things. So we're gonna recap the end of 2015 real quick because there's some things that happened that are notable. Number one on my list is Natalie Cole died, and it was just
I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to jump right into the sadness. I wasn't expecting it. But
what did you expect?
I'm sorry. I'm acting like I don't know what's going on. So
you haven't.
I read
like
and
your laptop was closed.
Listen.
And I'm like, your laptop closed.
No, because I mean,
I know it was this.
I mean, shout out to episode 19. This is fun.
Are we like? Yeah, toasting the shot.
All right, so yes, on that note, we can go ahead and take a shot.
So we'll take one for Natalie. The other thing that happened was that in the Tamir Rice case, there were no indictments, and then in pop culture news, hashtag waste his time 2016. Did you see
the best? So wait, what was your first of all, like everybody knows what this waste his time 2016 was.
I gotta pull it up.
Yeah, the waste her time was my god.
I don't even.
Yo, it had what's his name?
It was like when you
the Kardashian or the
a couple of them killed me on the waste.
Damn, what's the father's name? The Kardashians, what's his name? Bruce Jenner. It had Bruce Jenner on there talking about waste her time.
chill.
No, I think it said like marry her, have 2 kids with her, and then become a woman. That's time. I'm good.
Yo, the creativity of people happens so quick. Oh my god,
it's crazy though.
I love the one. It was like when he tells you to send nudes, and then it's like all the like MAC lipsticks. I was just like, that's so petty. Like, why would you even think of that?
Some of these were just getting wild.
Asking out on a double date.
That one
with your boyfriend
killed me.
Asking where
that joint killed me. Yo, I was dead when I was on a train when I saw it. I was dead. I was like, imagine like
it had that one, and then it had waste his time 2016 saying telling me you hungry, and when he shows up to the house with food, have your boyfriend open the door.
Yeah, the same one is like text him to bring a condom, and then when he brings it, tell him it was from my sister. What's up, though?
Yeah, like what you doing? Yeah.
How was everyone's 2015 though?
You know, no complaints. Another great year in the books.
What y'all do for New Year's Eve and all that jazz?
House party flow. 2 house parties kept it light.
Word. I'll say you were local. You were in New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
All right.
Went down to the village to this club. They had live music, and then went to Brooklyn.
I was in Colombia, Cartagena, Colombia.
Oh, of course.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sick of y'all shit.
So you were in Colombia. You were in Colombia for New Year's.
It's me and a bunch of old white men in first class.
Where were you?
I was plowing some ground. Like you're making me feel like some type of.
Wait, what is that? What is that?
You got
that new term 2016 right there.
Right now, there's so much room.
What do you really mean by that, though?
I just really feel like a bum like that.
Oh, me too.
I thought that was like Netflix and chill terminology.
Yeah, I was like plowing some ground. I was like, you could have said I had a date.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
No need to be graphic,
That's the kind of podcast.
Yeah, kids that listen.
Nah, I brought it. It was. I didn't do nothing crazy. I kept it local, kept it, in my area, and that's it. I didn't really do much.
You live in the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No parties, no nothing. Slow king.
So what's in your area? So that's a house party? Is it like a bar? Is it?
No, I brought it in at church.
Praise the Lord. You gotta be a God-fearing. Listen.
Church too. I forgot that.
Wait.
Praise the.
How did you know allowing? So
Before
what?
or after you went to Brooklyn?
That was before.
I don't know about that church visit. I forgot about that.
Then, no, I went to the whole service.
Y'all
okay, I just want to say, like, you can go to church and then you can turn up after. I praise the Lord. I brought in the new year, and then I went and I turned up.
Good for you,
girl. Yeah. You and Bay went?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that later.
I saw it on the run sheet. I saw that.
The run sheet. I like that. We're gonna call it that for now.
Thank you for giving us the proper terminology.
Anytime.
You're helping us become more professional.
Okay, cool.
I'm just trying to stay in the group.
Oh, I was where y'all expect me to be in my house.
So, for those who might be new to the podcast,
I did have people over. I did have people over. We did drink. We did play games. We did have a good time and cut up. Aww. But then I was able to go to my bed while everybody else was still up and about. Okay, because you knew where I was going. You knew, yeah. So, for those who are new to the podcast, the dynamic of me, Wawa, aka C, and D, we just opposite personalities that happen to mesh really, really well. D, her perfect kind of night is, going home to her apartment that she lives in by herself and cooking a full meal and catching up on some TV. Me, I don't make it home
till probably about 2 a.m.
She ain't been home in 2 weeks.
Making home is a foreign thing. I have no problem going out and turning up. I'm just one of those people.
I was in LA this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I was waiting, Ray.
I didn't see that coming. I wouldn't have guessed that you were on a plane somewhere.
Whatever.
And what happened?
And I had a great time enjoying medicinal marijuana.
What's your illness? You're some medicinal.
I appreciate you asking me.
You got the glaucoma?
Come
I got glaucoma on my cousin's side.
She said medicinal,
because that's the only legal way to. It's becoming legal. I honestly want to invest in recreational marijuana. It's a boost to the economy of Denver.
It might be a little too late for that.
No, real talk. Yeah, that's real.
Like I just feel like the wave is like done.
People already been on it.
It's gonna get legalized more places though. So
8 years ago.
Like 10 years ago.
Speaking of like smoking, and also it was MLK weekend.
Oh, good transition. I like that transition. It was very
better ones.
Because marijuana makes you dream. I get it.
Well, no.
No, it was just this past weekend.
Or maybe we could talk about the smoke screen that the U.S. put up when they really were the ones in charge of assassinating him.
Oh, there we go. E. I should be here for the revolutionary episode.
Bring us library. Let's go.
At this point, T left the podcast because he wasn't involved for that.
Don't be distracted.
Can we go ahead and set
Don't come for me.
He said stay.
I don't want the government coming for me.
Yo, can we go ahead and set the tone for the podcast right now? E, come on, bring us on right now. Though. Like seriously, yo, I had such a moment when I was like MLK. I was in LA, and it was one of those things. I was like, man, I want to go and volunteer. I want to go do the XYZ, but I didn't get an opportunity to do it the way I wanted to. Right, so I'm watching MLK now. It was basically all these influencers, black, white, whatever, that were in New York City, and they came to talk about conscious, social, timely events. And it was streaming live. It was amazing. And you have all these different, you had everyone from Michael B. Jordan to J. Cole. But I think what the bigger thing about it is like, yo, there's no young, influential, black, brown, whatever, people who are who are in the media who are kind of delivering that kind of message. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about things that are timely. We're talking about the fact that, there's a lot of crap going on. Let's talk about the Oscar nominations. Let's talk about, the fact that there's not enough diversity in representation of just media in general. So you're going to allow us to be on these ratchet ass shows, right? That's going to pay all these bills that are on, let's say, Basketball Wives or Love and Hip Hop or whatever like that. But when it comes to actual artistry of understanding, like, this is an art form that is being done on a huge international scale, and you can't even at least give it one nomination?
I had the same feeling. I volunteered all day on Monday, and it was great. I'm part of an organization in my town called Social Justice Matters, and we have like an MLK Day in our community, and we had over like 1,000 people attend, and like 300 like volunteer. It was awesome, and we just did stuff all day. Like they had kids like making medical kits, and they had like people feeding the homeless. We had like this solidarity walk. Like it was just, it was dope. Like I was out all day, but it was the best. It was cold on Monday, and we did like a 2.5 mile walk. Like it was great, and I was just like thinking the whole time about the podcast. I was like, we need to be
at the forefront.
Yeah,
of
like
I don't have to wait for one day out of the entire 365 days of a calendar year for us to be discussing these topics. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let me tell y'all what I was doing on MLK. So I was at the workplace because
Wait,
that says it all right there. Yeah, they don't respect that.
Did anybody else work on
I had work, but I took off.
Okay.
I was home.
What Martin say? Hey, Martin Luther King's birthday is a holiday, so you stay home that day.
Did you work?
No,
Did you work?
So no, I didn't work, but what I did do was I volunteered at a bookstore in Harlem, which I think you guys should all check out. They might not be brown and black young celebrities that are speaking to the black condition and the issues of today, but they are brown and black youth just like us that are speaking about the injustices just across the world and to brown and black people across the United States. And so this bookstore, it's on 132nd and Lenox. It's called Revolution Books. And I volunteer there, and exactly, they really true to the name and the agenda. And so on Martin Luther King Day, there was actually this play called Whistling in Mississippi.
That was the Apollo?
No, it was actually at the Joseph Kennedy Center right there.
I saw that about Emmett Till.
Right, about Emmett Till.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still playing?
Yeah. It's no. It ended on the 18th. Actually, ended on Monday. And so it was a very like compelling play. You know what I mean? Like it was low in production. Like there was only like 5 stools. But the play and the acting and just the storyline was very compelling. Like, you forgot all that. There was a point in time where the actor that plays Emmett Till, he's acting out the scene that he's leading up to him being killed. And as he's acting it out, he's narrating what he's going through and what he's feeling. And it was something that like it was quiet in the audience and the people were very like gripped by it. It was surreal because it was quiet, but it was loud at the same time. Loud in the sense that the energy was palpable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you could feel the people's energy. Like we were quiet, but slowly but surely, I'll speak for myself, I began to feel like infuriated. Like I felt angry. And so I volunteered with the store. We were one of the vendors there, just kind of bringing people to the store. And I volunteered for 2 days and I watched it. It was a dope play directed by Michael Green, who did a great job. I think they're doing like a national tour and it's done here in New York. I think we should definitely watch it. Like, just watch him and, when he comes back, definitely support. I feel like it was great.
That's great. Word.
So
Yo, that's dope.
We need to like do more stuff like that together. We did go to that play. Like,
field trips.
It was fun.
We forgot about Lynn.
Sorry, yeah, Lynn, you were at work and all of us just were like, girl.
Yeah, no, so I was at work and this just goes to show, like, because we always talk about how we should be more woke and just more conscious about stuff. And I just think, like, even baby steps just to inform people of what's going on and not necessarily playing the role of, like, I'm just going to laugh with you because you're laughing. Prime example, I'm at work, and so everybody's like, what's happening outside? Oh my gosh, look at all these people. What is this? Wait, hold on. Is this like a riot? Is it a protest? So I'm like, okay, let me go because we're in Stamford, Connecticut. So I highly doubt there's a riot going on in here.
Yeah.
So I go outside. Clearly, there's a march with a big sign from some Baptist or Methodist church, and it clearly says in big bold lettering, Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, so you all can't read now. You can read everything else, but you can't read this big banner.
Yo.
So, and then what pisses me off is that there are other African Americans in my office. And instead of them being like,
let me educate you.
Oh, well, they're probably just having a Martin Luther King Day parade. That's all you have to say. Like, you don't have to be like, well, on this day. You don't have to be so, like, Black Power and, like, really break it down. A simple, let me just remind you of what day it is. Because maybe you forgot because we are at work.
Right.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But instead, they're like...
They slid that in because we are here when no one else is.
Yeah.
Right. No one else working today but us.
Because we are at work.
We are at work.
On a national holiday.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you forgot. But instead of them just saying that, they're just like, oh my God, what? I don't know. Let me look. I don't know. So then I feel like I have to take it among myself. Well, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So they're out at this parade. I was like, maybe we should take time out and go down there and help out. Maybe take some swag down. Maybe do something like that. Show
everybody
like we care.
I love that.
Everybody got quiet.
Everybody got quiet. Now they went back to work so that they can read emails because they couldn't read what was on the sign. But I'm just saying, like, little things like that. I'm not trying to make you feel any type of way. Not trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
You should.
But what I'm saying is, this is the situation, and I'm not going to sit here and like laugh with you about like, what is this? When it's clear what it is, and you really need to respect it.
And we're not here to make you feel comfortable. Like, that's not my job.
We're not here to be Stacey Dash.
I'm not.
Transition. That was a good transition.
That, right?
Good.
Wow.
Was that a good?
Before we transition, I wanna tell Lynn that I appreciate you for that.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that we need to encourage that kind of behavior. Right. Only because, there are so many people that do kind of like chum it up with this ignorance, and Sally and Becky and Elizabeth. You know what I'm saying? Like but I really do feel like we're at a threshold right now where we have to make people feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And like, we're not gonna see a change until we make people feel uncomfortable, until we bring it to Front Street, or until we bring it to their face.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so I want to say that I appreciate you for that.
And you know what? It's crazy.
Go ahead.
I'm at work, this is like late December. This is right before the holiday. I get baffled every year when people are like, oh, we off that day in January? As though it doesn't come every single year at the same time.
Every year. And
we work at a company that honors and recognizes that day.
Just so y'all know, we work at a place that literally blatantly says Martin Luther King Day. We know that we have that specific day.
It's not like it comes every single year. What?
I mean, how long you think before they stop celebrating it?
Yo, that's
because look at Thanksgiving.
You know, because
look at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I've always remembered having Thanksgiving off. Not that I celebrate that anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always remember having Thanksgiving off, and this was the first year that I didn't have it off.
Because it's now Brown Thursday, because everyone in retail and everything like that are like shopping on Thursday.
Right, so it's just like how soon before the message and the memory of MLK becomes diluted to the point where we're not even celebrating.
Well, as soon as they put Stacey Dash on the ticket, we won't have Black History Month, and we won't have BET, and we won't have anything, so we won't have to worry about it.
We're going to update you all on Stacey Dash.
First of all, check out our Instagram, because
ignorance is.
She posted probably 3 videos of it. We shouldn't have.
If we want to be integrated, we need to start acting like it.
Either you want segregation or integration.
So we should get rid of channels like BET, the Image Awards, and we should get rid of these types of platform-centric, because it's only leading to more segregation. And you know what? Why do we have Black History Month? I'm an American.
We're all American.
We're all American. And the white guy from Fox, who was interviewing her, Fox News, let me be specific, because Fox News is very different from Fox programming, which...
Is it really?
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, they launched In Living Color. And Living Color is what put Fox on the map and made it a broadcast channel. Like, Rupert Murdoch was not like anybody before. Like, In Living Color started getting these crazy ratings, and now they got freaking Empire and the rest of these black shows that's making them money.
Wasn't Martin on Fox?
Yeah, Martin was on Fox. It's a ton of black shows that made history that were on Fox.
So
which I guess is a double-edged sword.
Go ahead.
But the newscaster was like, so she said, we don't need Black History Month. And he said, why? Because we don't have White History Month? And she was like, exactly.
Oh, just played right into the hand. Good job, Stacey.
I'm gonna say this. I've read the type of what she said. And I gotta say that I followed her. I followed her when she was like, we either want to be integrated or segregated. I think that that's a very poignant point that she made. So basically, choose a side.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I hear that.
Do you want to be integrated or do you want to be segregated? And then she went on to say, if you want to be segregated, because I read it, if you want to be segregated, then we shouldn't have Black History Month. We shouldn't have BET, and we shouldn't have, you know, all these awards that celebrate black people. I got that argument. Like, I get that. I'm not saying that I agree with it, you know, given what we as black people and colored people have gone through. To that point, I got her argument. Now, when she went on to say, because we are Americans, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm an American and period,
yeah, she lost me.
That's when she lost me. When she was like, we should just get rid of all that because we're American. That's when she lost me. She was sound. I feel like, she had a point. Choose a side. And I feel like oftentimes people play both sides. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, either we're going to come up together and build this black nationalist movement and just like screw white supremacy and just be about us. But we can't have it both ways.
Yo, this is like the classic argument, like George Washington Carver and like W.B. Du Bois. Like, we want to have these segregated schools where we can empower our own black people, or do we want integration?
I think people just want equality at the end of the day. So it's like, if you're underrepresented or underserved, like, it's not the same as being integrated,
Right.
So
exactly.
that's kind of like where everything kind of stems from.
And don't forget that, like, we have had a systematic oppression. I hear people are like, oh, that's reverse racism. It don't exist, bruh. It don't exist. There's no way that there's like reverse racism when there's been an engine that has been built from hundreds of years ago that has put literally another race above another one.
It's an institution, and that's the whole root of racism. But it's not that it's just me doing something to you on this one day randomly. It is a systemic premise of the whole thing that makes
it. It is an institution, but then we got to think of who are the creators of this institution. Right. And so we got to think about the founding fathers. You know what I'm saying? The founding fathers talked about, that all men were created equal. Now you got to think of all the men that were at that table. You know what I'm saying? And some of them being slave owners. You know what I'm saying? Some of them seeing blacks as property. So when they're talking about all men are created equal, they're talking about everyone at the table, not those that were serving the table. Ooh. This is a country that's built on white supremacy. Right. They felt like we were beneath them. Whether they were conscious of it or not, they still built the Constitution around them, around their people. The sooner we realize that, the sooner that we understand that, the better we frame ourselves around that, the better we know our place in their eyes, and therefore make a determination of what direction we're gonna go in.
One quote I heard on MLK Day, it said, "Diversity gets you in the room, but equity gets your voice heard." And I think we're looking so much for diversity. But even if you're in the room, if there's no equity,
still not sitting at the table.
Right.
You can all right, you know what? You come in, fine. All right, affirmative action, whatever. We need you in here. We need you in here for government funding, so we crazy out here in these streets.
Right. Yeah.
But you can't sit at the table, because I had this conversation the other day when Stacey Dash did pop off, and I was like, I put RIP Stacey Dash on my Instagram. Like, that was it. And she was like, and one of my co-workers is Spanish. And she was like, well, what's the big deal, right? And so she was like, why do you have BET and all this other stuff? And
is she Afro-Latino? Is she...
She's Puerto Rican.
She's African.
It's more so who you identify
with. And if you speak to the ones that don't get it, they're like, no, I'm Puerto Rican. You call them anything other than that, is going to be hell and hot fire in there. Wow. Yeah. So I was pretty much explaining, it was like, just because we say black, it's automatically a problem, right? White people always said for years, do your own thing, get off your lazy asses and work. Live the American dream type thing. So then we go do that, but then we call it black, and it's a big problem. Well, no, you can't call it black. That's reverse racism, or whatever the case may be. But it's like, so I'm trying to explain to her. She's like, why is there BET? Why is there black this? And I'm like, well, because everything else is white.
Right.
It's like, they don't necessarily have to say it. What did Kanye West say? Racism is alive. They just better at concealing it. Yeah. All they do is just kind of, like, you try to walk into a boardroom of Morgan Stanley or Chase. Everyone that works these big financial power banks and all that stuff, they got cool, nice jobs. But everyone at the top, if you do have a black person at the top, they shucking and jive and they toeing the line, or it's not enough to make a big fuss. They want to control you. And I'm reading Miseducation of the Negro right now, and it's crazy disgusting how there's parallels from 1912 to 2016. Wow. And I'm talking about, it's just like ridiculous. I just finished Malcolm X's book. Same thing. I'm like, wow. Mm-hmm. Same thing's happening. The non-unity in our communities, the breakdown between us that leads to other bigger things. And you have the house Negroes that just don't get it, like Stacey Dash, that want to just, whatever the man says, we don't need that. This doesn't make sense. It's like, no, we don't have to call something white this or make it an equivalent because we're doing it. They've been doing it. If you want to try, go try to get into a private school. Go try to get into Harvard. Yeah, there are some black people in there, but ain't no one calling the shots in Harvard. Ain't no one on that motherfucking board black. I can almost guarantee that if not, it's not enough to make a substantial impact. So even if you do get to the table, you're just there. They like, okay, great talk. That's one vote down. All the rest 8 of us say, who cares?
You're not an influencer.
One of my favorite quote from the book, sorry, I also write a blog and I read that book.
Yeah, do it.
If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself with what he will do. The mentality is what matters here. Like, they don't have to worry about what we're going to do in the room because they control how we got there. So they control how we feel when we get there. Like,
it's psychological warfare, because the same thing in Miseducation of the Negro, where he says, not only will they, if you control them enough, pretty much, not only will they find their place, they'll break down the wall to get to it.
To get there.
Just to get there.
To get there. Like, so we'll basically, because we came from slavery, like, we will do our best to stay in a position of, like, submission to other people. Like, as a mentality. It's just wild. Like, it's a really crazy book.
I wanna kind of step into, like, black Americans. That really peeves me. Like, people be like, oh, I'm not African, I'm black. So Africans came here on the slave trade. What they found was that the African slaves were actually difficult to kind of, like, to domesticate and tame, because they had a memory of home. They have a memory of the way things were and of freedom. So what they did was they created what was called the slave breeding industry. You had slave owners have slaves procreate and then put the children to work. And so weeding out the Africans, but having their children be conditioned to thinking that this is what life is for you. This is your existence. You know what I'm saying? And then that is what is black. That's where the disconnect from Africa comes. And so when people be like, "Oh, I'm not African," as if that's some type of like
disrespectful thing. Like, oh my God,
to say that. Because people oftentimes stigmatize Africa with
poverty.
With poverty or chucking spears and all this other nonsense, ignorance. You know what I'm saying? But there's a beauty and there's a richness to that continent in and of itself. Let's step aside from the people, but just the continent in and of itself. And if that was not true, then why would all these colonists be there? Why would France be there? Why would Europe be there? Why would America be there? Why would they be in the Congo just to get the resources to be able to make our cell phones? Listen, you understand what I'm saying?
I completely understand what you're saying. Once again, I've been doing my best recently to study behavioral psychology, and I think conditioning is it. Like, and that's just the same divide you're talking about with the Africans and black. And coming from I'm relatively newly woke, I guess I'll call it, because I was once like, what? Like, you call me African, I'm not African, I'm black. But that and I listen, I have no problem saying it. You're a product of your environment. What they did was they took us away from our religion. So and that's what these, black people cling to. They have their culture. We do the same thing, but they get to have their culture at the end of the day. We didn't really have much. We had church and school. Yeah. That's all we really had. And we thrived in that atmosphere. That's all we had. We didn't know a language. We didn't have anything to fall back on but white people. So like I said, it's total psychological warfare, and it's crazy. It's good to learn and listen to, but that's the problem. And people don't want to hear it, and sometimes that happens. You have people that do hear and they preach that shit and don't live it, or you have people that don't want to know about it and don't care. They're like, this is it.
And they don't know that they should know about it.
Right. Like if you go to a public school, I went to a predominantly white high school. Like a lot of us grow up in whiteness and we learn their culture, but we don't learn ours.
Right.
Like, but that's a byproduct of what we asked for. That's a byproduct of integration. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Marcus Garvey was asking for black nationalism and for us to all migrate back to Africa and form our country there. He spoke about, the yellow man has his country, the white man has his country. Where's the country for the black man? This is what MLK fought for. He fought for integration. And so how did you think that was going to pan out? Mm-hmm. How did you think that was going to go? You thought that they was going to celebrate us and our history and teach us about that? I just want to make this last point. When I was volunteering at the play, there was these two white actors. They played, obviously the white roles. And one of the questions that was posed to the male, because it was a female and a male, was, what did you know about Emmett Till coming into this? And he said, I had never known the story of Emmett Till. Mm-hmm. Wow. Of Emmett Till until college. And he said, and when I learned about it in college, I broke down and I cried, and he wondered why this wasn't being taught in history.
Right.
In school history. We all knew the name Emmett Till well before college.
And look, even artists like Kanye, who was like, Emmett Till, what's Emmett Till? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't learn
wait, what?
He said that?
Yeah. Because my face looked like
Emmett Till.
No, he made a reference,
which kind of made a lot more kids who wouldn't learn it in school.
Through the wire. It went through the wire,
Because my girl, man, my face looked like Emmett Till. Yeah, he made a reference. Yeah, it wasn't.
And in the context of Kanye, it was not a derogatory reference. It was more enlightenment.
Yeah, it was
it was educating a generation who might not have learned that in school. But I'm so glad we're on this topic. I'm gonna go ahead and say this real quick. Like, I've never felt so ignorant in my life as I have, except for my recent travels. So, for example, I have been doing like a full Central American, South American. Stop it. Straight Right? Leave me alone.
They get on my girl seat.
Sorry.
I've been traveling everywhere,
I've
been everywhere. You ain't never there.
Let me be great.
Like you said,
but so I will say this. I'm an avid traveler. I love traveling. I love going into different places. Let me finish. So I've been to, at this point, I'm thinking about 34 countries. Whoa. And so I'm a type of person.
Humble brag.
What? I don't want to say that. No, it has a purpose.
We know you've been places, though.
All right, Taylor Swift. All right, Taylor Swift. Beyonce had the best album of the year, though.
She got the best passport of all time.
Best passport.
Literally gets a new passport every day.
We got it. We don't go to
You get addendums to your passport.
Oh my gosh, that was not the purpose.
Let me get the 28-pager. The 16 won't suffice.
Whatever. The purpose of me saying this is,
for y'all right now.
I've never understood what it is to be a black person in another country that was involuntarily brought there. And I say this because as Americans, we set the culture for hip hop. We set the culture for movies, for television, for just like entertainment in general, right? For black people, right? If you in Africa, you could easily find a fucking Jay-Z music video, or you could find like Scandal, you can find How to Get Away with Murder in another country. If you're in Europe, you can find the same thing. But as Americans, we don't really see examples of black people in media or in music like that. When I was in Brazil, when I was in Colombia, when I was in Puerto Rico, I realized, yo, they don't call themselves African Americans. I was talking to my friend who's from Brazil. She was like, yo, why, like, what is this term African American? I was like, you know, we're Americans.
Our roots are African.
Our roots are African. Like, our skin, like, tells on us. Like, it's our identifier. When we're in a group of people, like, look at my melanin. Like, you know where I'm from. Like, right. I am proud. Versus, wait, South America is America too, but y'all don't call yourselves African American. They call themselves Black or African. I'm African. I come from Angola, or I come from, you know, whatever other country in Africa. They embrace African culture in a way that I have never seen in America, that it was baffling. I don't know why we as Americans don't learn about culture of other countries the way they learn about us. Yo, everybody knows about American history, but we don't know about any of them.
I
tell you, Ray, I'll let you
go first. I've noticed it too, because I had a lot of international friends in college, right. And I was super ignorant because I'd be like, oh, yo, even me just thinking about some of the shit that used to come out of my mouth is like despicable, and I don't even want to recite on this podcast.
That's real,
but for full disclosure, I will. I used to be like, I had so many international friends. My ex was like from Norway. She's a refugee from Eritrea, everything, right? Wow. So then I'd be like, you go to school in America. You want to be here in America. America's the best. And yo, the looks they would give me, and at first, of course, I didn't know any better, but that was my spiel for like a good 2 years while they were there. And they would show me pictures, and they would face. I'm like, wait, how do you know this? Like, why can you speak 4 fucking languages?
Right.
And I'm struggling in fucking Spanish 201 right now.
Right.
And they're like, oh no, we learned this in XYZ, and you don't have this, and you haven't been there. I was talking about that's just what they do. And it's like, yo, we're so sheltered, and we're byproducts of privilege.
Yeah.
Yo, it's ridiculous. And I had to really sit back and be like,
byproducts of privilege is the biggest thing. Because let me tell you something, it's a running joke. It's like, oh, if you speak 3 languages, what are you? Trilingual, right? Multilingual.
Right.
If you speak 2 languages, what are you? Bilingual. If you speak 1 language, what are you? American.
Wow.
I wanted to say, like, you know, American is kind of like a surname. And I'll break that down. Like, America is not its own culture. America is based on a culture of appropriation. You know what I'm saying? We appropriated our land from the Native American. America was built on the backs of slavery.
Right.
You say that you don't see any black entertainers, you don't see any black music at the forefront of America, but blues came from African hymns, you know, out on the field.
Right.
Blues gave way to jazz.
No.
Jazz gave way to rock and roll. Rock and roll gave way to Elvis. That's all appropriation of things that we've created. So though all of American culture, who's at the face, of course is going to be white.
And then they downplay it.
Of course it's going to be white. But at the end of the day, at the root of it is us. And so I just wanted to say that, like, American is not, it's not an identity. But he did the segue though. What was the segue?
Okay, so we have so many other things to talk about.
We have so much to discuss, guys.
Do you want to talk about the Oscars?
No, they're white. Fuck
It's
them.
simple. It's simple.
It's tied in.
It's simple.
Specifically about the Oscars, did you see the video that the original Aunt Viv posted?
First of all, let's get on Aunt Viv.
The original Aunt Viv.
He's got her name.
Janet Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubert.
She's
60 years old and still
looking like she just came off the set in 1992.
I was gonna say still bitter because she posted this 4-minute long video basically coming for Jada and Will and the entire Smith family about how you know, Jada and Spike Lee decided that they're gonna boycott the Oscars, and basically Aunt Viv was
Snoop
power fist up.
Yeah, and Aunt Viv basically was just like, hey,
Will Smith ain't going either.
Hey Jada, like, first of all, doesn't your man have a voice? And second of all, when we were asking for more money when the show was on, you wasn't about that life. And third of all, y'all have a production company that only supports yourselves, and y'all make your money from the very people who you're complaining about, and you out here acting like people aren't dying and getting shot and killed, and there's not bigger issues than the Oscars. Now, let me just say real quick, I thought that the video was somewhat warranted. Yeah. But there's just no platform for this to not look petty. Like,
I didn't see the video, but
all I'm gonna say is, 1, the video would have been way more valid to me if you weren't bringing stuff that happened on
25
years ago. If she hadn't left that part out, I would have a little bit more thought. 2, I'm all about the visual. Mm-hmm. You talking about Aunt Viv still look good? I couldn't tell because to me, Aunt Viv in that video looked like anime. Okay, wow. The filter and stuff. But what I'm saying is, if you're gonna come for somebody and you're come correct. Come correct. Jada Pinkett came out in natural light. Like, hey, she did not raise her voice. She did not. It wasn't like she was. It was just like, hey, it's a statement. This is what I'm doing. You know, if you guys want to join in, by all means. But you know, we shouldn't let people validate us. She came very calm, very cool, very collected. And then you came off the break talking about something.
She don't got no real name.
And she was like, I'm 60 years old and I can say what I want.
But do you all see the movies that people are like debating should be up for Oscars? Like Creed, Concussion, and the Idris movie?
Yeah.
Do we all think they're Oscar worthy? Honestly.
No. I mean,
I thought Creed was solid.
My thing is, I thought Concussion was solid too.
I don't think it was any.
I don't think Creed it was Will's best, and I don't think
Creed.
But do you think the nominees who ranked him out?
I didn't see any. I saw barely any of the Oscar nominated movies, so I can't even speak.
I only saw the black movies that weren't nominated.
You know why? Yo,
I saw Creed.
Yo, that's the most
on a regular year. I'm like,
you just see the most fundamental thing right there. You saw movies that were relevant to you and that appealed to you.
Yeah.
So it's the same as the people who are voting for these particular nominations.
Yeah.
So with that said, should we have our own Oscars?
No, not necessarily, but like.
Should we add to Stacey Dash's fuel?
No, but before you make
have
a
y'all
movement,
seen the Oscar statue that it was based off of?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I've seen that. But like,
they're
all African.
But like, what do we fighting for sometimes? For me, it's like, it's the content there.
I appreciate what she's like. I feel like
wasn't Denzel like up for an Oscar for like Training Day or something? Something like I was like,
right, but Jada speaks to that.
He won it, and Will Smith was in that category. That
So I think what the
for me is like, I want to be
is
up for like, you know, uplifting movies too. I want to see.
Right, but Jada made a song about it. Jada made a song about like, why did Denzel have to be crooked, and why did Jada have to
let a white man pop it and get an Oscar?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I agree.
It's true.
But like, we're talking about this year and like
they want us to play our role.
But this year in a vacuum, are the movies Oscar worthy? I can't speak to. I can easily jump on social media and be like, oh yeah, we're not nominated, but I didn't see all of them.
I think part of the problem is that we don't have the roles that would get us nominated.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's two sides. Like, we didn't get nominated for the movies we were in, and we don't get casted for the movies that they put so much into. And I get
the casting.
But at the same time, let's question also who's sitting at this table gauging it.
I just literally learned how this Oscar situation happens. So ironically, my really good friend from high school that I stayed with in LA works for the Academy Awards.
Stop trip dropping.
Stop.
Right, why don't you go ahead and agree with you?
So, as I was saying, so she was explaining to me, first of all, there's thousands of people who vote for this around the world. So there's different categories, right? And you vote for what category you want to be placed in. You know, you can be in, cinematography, docuseries, your huge, dramas. You can vote on what you want to vote in, and then you can vote like in a ranking order. So I want to vote for documentaries and, visual arts and all this other stuff. And you hopefully will get casted for that, and you'll be able to vote for those things. So I didn't realize it's an international board that does this, and you have to have certain qualifications. You have to pay your money each year.
That's the two key. It's money and politics. Like everything else Americans put his stamp on is no matter what kind of field you have, and you could have won 1 million Oscars. The majority of people that's going to be making decisions are the ones with money and the ones who play the best politics.
Can we title that? All that he just said, I just want to title it as capitalism. Imperialism. That's basically what you said in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. You're talking about all the people that have the much money, right? And then how they come over something, swoop over something, and own it. They get to say what's and what.
Listen,
and that's
to
imperialism.
The winner goes the spoils.
Right. So capitalism, imperialism is what we're talking about.
But they're not necessarily winners, more so takers and stealers. But
capitalism, imperialism.
Yeah.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, go ahead.
So before I read this, I do want to say that this is not us using a white person as validation, but I will say this is George Clooney. He made a very valid point. Just want to make sure I preface that. George Clooney says, and I quote, "Think about how many more African Americans were nominated. I would make the argument. I don't think it's a problem of who we're picking as much as how many options are available in minorities films, particularly in the quality ones. We need to do better at this. We used to be better at this."
But you know what bothers me the most? It's ebb and flow. It ebb and flows, right? It's like, all right, let's work for this company. We're going to have an agenda to put out multicultural media, and we're going to make all these different films and all this kind of stuff to make sure that everybody likes it. It makes a lot of money, and then people get hired who are not in that particular multicultural realm, and then 10, 12, 15 years later, it goes back to the same thing. Because guess what? The people who are being hired are still in those positions of power because their dads, their uncles, their aunts are hiring them, and they're being able to go to these Ivy League schools and these places of privilege in order to get in those positions.
After we rode the coattails and we made enough money and we're established enough,
Thank you.
Let's do that.
So speaking of, I guess we were kind of talking about politics. Obama gave his last State of the Union.
Shout out to Obama, yo.
Which I fucking love.
I love him so much.
I don't know.
We posted also about that on our...
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Go ahead, finish. We can talk about it.
No, so I was just going to say that Obama gave his last State of the Union, and everyone's sort of transitioning into really what's going to happen in the next election.
Ooh.
Recently, Palin
Trump
endorsed
Palin,
Donald Trump.
Stacey Dash, be quiet.
And then, the debates have been on, and Bernie's actually taken the lead against Clinton.
Hillary.
I mean, there's just a lot, against Hillary. There's a lot of things going on in politics right now. But I mean, the Flint water crisis has become an entire clusterfuck based on the fact that, all of the black people, colored people in general in Flint, Michigan don't have clean water.
Poverty. Yeah.
It's just all due to poverty. But I want to know why you paused when we said Obama.
I'm not gonna comment on the State of the Union address because I didn't watch it.
Okay.
But I will comment on Obama in that So let's rewind and let's take it back to what I had said earlier. Let's bring it back to that table of the founding fathers.
Mm-hmm.
They were all white men when they spoke about all men are created equal, they were speaking with white men in mind.
Right.
And so they've built this country off the back of black people.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get our freedom, per se, till maybe or some type of freedom till after World War II, right? And I say that because Civil War, optically, and I say optics because, in the grand scheme of things, ended slavery, but then came Jim Crow, where they had
institutionalized.
They had institutionalized. So basically, we can't enslave people anymore, right? So now you have a whole bunch of black people that are jobless.
Yeah.
Right? So what do? They create a vagabond law, right? So now you have a law that if you're not working or you don't have a job, you become arrested. And if you become arrested, now you're working for the jails to construct roads and construct whatever case. So now you're back in that slavery.
So real quick, plug. The new Jim Crow is about this transition.
Michelle Alexander.
Yes.
From this Jim Crow that I'm talking about to non-incarceration.
To mass incarceration.
Right.
It's basically
right.
the transition of institutionalization of black people. The laws have changed, but our oppression is still the same. It's just taking different forms.
Right.
So y'all should read the book because it's dope.
Right.
And it definitely explains.
Give us the title again.
The New Jim Crow.
The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
I love people who read.
So
I'm so happy.
Right. But let's not forget that's the new Jim Crow.
Right.
I'm talking about the old Jim Crow.
Right.
I'm talking about what her book was spawned off of. Mm-hmm. There was laws that were put in place in order to make it so that black people were still enslaved. Mm-hmm. And the vagabond law is just one of them.
War on drugs, the educational pipeline.
That's all the new Jim Crow. That's all the new Jim Crow. So I bring all that to say, optically, like when they brought the Confederate flag down, people were like, yay, hooting and hollering. I really wasn't moved by that because at the end of the day, that's just optics. You know what I'm saying? You could change the flag all you want, but how does that change the heart of the people? Has it really changed the sentiment of white people? You could keep fooling me with naming January 18th Martin Luther King Day, but we still living in the same struggle. You be silly or you be ignorant to think that we're far from the times of Emmett Till. What do you call Tamir Rice? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When I was there volunteering at the play, there's one question that got answered on both nights by two different people. And the question was, did Tamir Rice see justice? And the answer was no. And
How do you tie this into Obama?
Yeah. So I want to bring it back to Obama. So the point is that with all that said, Jim Crow, the new Jim Crow, and this society being constructed under the mindset of white supremacy, Barack Obama is nothing but a puppet.
No.
He is. He is a puppet. And I feel like he's a great orator. I don't take that away from him.
Nothing but makes me cringe.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Because I think he's more than that.
I think he generalizes and say all presidents are puppets.
Right.
Don't just say Barack Obama.
Yes, all presidents.
That's different.
I will say that.
That's a different statement.
I will say, no. I will say that there is an agenda that must be met in order, not only for him to get there, but to be able to play that role.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
The last person that met that role and tried not to meet the agenda was JFK, and he got shot in his head. And
say that again. The last person who tried to meet that role but did not fit the agenda.
Right. So the last person that got voted in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he did what he was supposed to do up until the point that he got voted in.
Right.
And then once he was voted in, he was supposed to continue to push to fit the agenda. And he didn't.
Gotcha.
He didn't. Because if you listen or if you read the transcript of his last speech was when he was talking about how he had just recently discovered that this country was really ruled by a ruling class. It was ruled by an elite class. I'm not making this up. You can look it up and you can read the transcript. And he speaks about it. Shortly after that, he was assassinated.
Right.
He was letting people know, listen, I'm letting y'all know in not so many words that I'm not really running this country. There's other people behind me that are pushing the buttons and letting you know that it's really not me doing this. They're forcing my hands. They forcing my hands. So at the end of the day, that man got killed for that. That man was the one that was sitting at the table with Martin Luther King and trying to make things happen.
So it's not Obama, it's the institution.
It's the institution.
So irrespective of what Obama, the road to hell is paved in great intentions and good intentions. So Obama could have had all the greatest of intentions going in. But I truly believe that he was very, I don't want to say ignorant.
Naive, I would say.
Naive. He was naive to what it was that the position really held. Mm-hmm. And that's why Bernie Sanders, you know what I'm saying, he's attaching a surname to Democrat. He's attaching socialism. But when you really delve into what socialism is, he's really not a socialist. But to those liberals that believe that they have some education and some understanding of what socialism is, are titillated by the fact that he has that tag to his name. But once again, even if he wanted to make change, and a lot of things that he says, like if I was a voting American, which I'm not.
Okay.
We'll talk about that, but it's not about me. It's about your bullet points. But the point of the matter is that this is a capitalistic imperialism state. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like. I love Obama for what he represents and what he stands, but let's not be mistaken as black people. Like, y'all beautiful. I love that we having this conversation, but let's not be mistaken. Like this is just optics. The proletariat or the working class looks up to the middle class, and the middle class looks up to be to the higher class. So if you're a third world country, all you really look up to is to be a first world country. Does that mean that what the first world country is doing is right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, like it's just where the money's at.
It's a hierarchy.
Right. It's a hierarchy of power and capitalism.
But that's the same thing. That just takes you back to going back to the Oscars and Jada Pinkett. She's saying the same thing. Just like, okay, should we even be worried about the Oscars? Because basically, as an actor, we're looking up to something like this. We're looking up to the Oscars. Should we even be worried about that? Do we even need that validation?
You don't.
Yeah. So
I would say you don't.
At the end of the day, it's like, what does it matter? And then just to segue from Jada Pinkett, let's get on, and I don't mean to take over.
Go ahead, girl.
Black Girl Magic.
Okay, it's on my list. Listen.
I see what you did there.
Good job. Listen. Yo, D has been waiting for this for the past fucking 15 minutes.
Go ahead, girl. Tell us, because I've been waiting.
No, first of all, I hadn't seen that Elle magazine.
Oh, child. Okay, so let's get some.
Elle or Team Vogue, or all of the above.
All of the above. So, do you know what the hashtag is? Black Girl Magic. Okay. For those of you who don't know, it's basically a hashtag empowering black girls and women doing positive things in a very basic context. So if you are out here just taking a picture, a selfie with you and your friends, and your melanin's on fleek, hashtag Black Girl Magic. All the way up to like. All the way up to like Amanda Stenberg and
MOF.
I like that.
Okay.
So the point is, it's a very like positive sort of movement, similar to Black Lives Matter. It's just for Black girls in general, right? And so this Black girl who's a writer for Elle got on here and wrote this whole article about why she thinks that it's stupid to call it Black girl magic because we're not superhumans and we don't do anything. And I quote, "Something doesn't smell right. Maybe it's me and I have a chronic incurable illness, but I know what it feels to feel failure, and basically like there's nothing magical about me and there's nothing magical about anybody else."
Well, girl, get your depressed ass off this fucking page.
I was like, well, I'm just so damn sorry to hear that you don't think you have magic. You can be unmagical. No offense to anybody else with the disease that you have, but you can be unmagical with that illness and you can sit over there. But don't try to downplay other people because we're being positive and we want to celebrate ourselves. Nobody's saying nothing to you. Like, if that's not how you feel, then don't even comment about it. Like, why do you feel necessary?
It's psychological warfare.
Yeah.
They are programmed. Like, programming is real, and that's all. And so they side right with their press because they don't know any better. I'm telling you because I was once there, and I've said these things, and I don't get it. That's stupid. And because I can now play both sides of the fence, I'm here to try to make you understand was like, you don't know. You don't know that they've tried to, that they have oppressed you, and they just do it so subtly that you don't pick up on it. And when things are subtle and subconscious, you don't catch it.
So basically,
you guys are beautiful. I just wanna really like take the time. I'm gonna take like half a second. I just wanna really.
Go ahead. How you feel, Eve?
I was gonna save it to the end, but it feels so visceral now. I want to tell you guys that I really love you guys. Like I really, no, really, no. And I appreciate the fact that you say that you feel it because I really mean it, and I hope that it's palpable.
Well, your energy is here. Don't worry.
He's out here winning.
I just want you guys to know that like this is not too small. You know what I'm saying? And so the sister that wrote that article, like, we need to show grace. Like, she said that, and we could be here beating her up and all that, but at the end of the day, we need to grab her, pull her to the side, and show her love.
So, one thing I'm just going to quote from her is that it says, saying we're superhuman is just as bad as saying we're animals, because it implies that we are organically different. Wait.
Can I get this?
Yo, my face is... Yo, I had the crazy twisted face right now.
Can you do it one time? What?
Bitch, where? How?
So, HuffPost Black Voices basically wrote like an article just being like, here's the thing, if you feel that way, like, we feel bad for you, like Lynn was saying, but like, you don't need to categorize the rest of us, and you don't need to downplay the rest of our movement, and you don't really need to take daggers at people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just felt like so set up that she was writing for this white magazine. Somebody paid her to say this.
You're low
and be insecure, right?
And you're the token Black girl that's in our group.
So let me pose this question. So, what would it look like? Yeah, she got the check from the white man. Yeah, she wrote that for the white article. But what would it look like if we could sit down with her, like, you know, contact her. Let's get her contact. Have a brunch with her. Talk to her, educate her, and then have her sitting on our table side.
So people have talked to her, actually. The creator of the hashtag has talked to her, and she's talked to them. While she feels very bad about the article that she wrote and the people she had hurt during it, she still disagrees with the hashtag. But the place
what's your source?
I'm
just curious.
That's important.
I can't remember the website.
Okay, you read it somewhere.
I read it. It was an interview with her. And her place was, so she's a freelance writer. So she writes and then she poses it to magazines. Mm-hmm. And she said she didn't pose it to Ebony for a certain reason.
Because they rejected that shit.
Yeah, because they rejected it. Mm-hmm. And then Elle picked it up.
Naturally.
But she was coming from a place where, while I completely don't agree with anything she says, Black girls are magic. She was saying that it's coming from a place where y'all know the tropes about Black women that cause people to treat us a different way in society. So strong Black women are mules. Like when they had the hashtag, things I love about Black women, the only things that were coming up was Black women put up with so much shit and are still standing. Black women are resilient. It's like you can put so much on our backs and we're going to still stand. Like you can treat us however and we're just hard as rock. Like she was coming from a place of this superhuman, resilient, strong Black woman trope. She felt like it was feeding into that. But she wasn't coming from like y'all not no different from white people, blah, blah, blah. She was coming from a place of, this is the same Jezebel, mammy bullshit that we've been getting fed since the beginning of time.
Which I would be fine with, I think, if she wasn't a freelancer. Like, to me, it seems like she wrote it just because. Like, it seemed like she wrote it because she's a freelancer.
Yep.
She wanted her work noted. Yeah, like she gets picked up by a white magazine.
Oh, look at this title.
Yeah, look at this traffic. Look at it. Like it didn't even seem genuine.
So what does that speak to?
What does that speak to? That speaks to capitalism.
So T said that she's trying to get her article paid. I mean, she's trying to get her article picked up so that it could get paid. Why?
Because she got to pay these bills. Sally Mae ain't gonna pay herself.
Disenfranchisement.
Right. So how much of yourself do you have to kind of deviate from or lose from just to be able to pay the bills?
And life is about self-preservation, and that always comes into it as well, because then it's like, well...
To a degree, it's a choice. Do you have a choice of what time you wake up in the morning?
Not every day.
Depends on the day.
Not every day.
Depends on the day, but at the end of the day, it falls within a certain construct. Yeah. And it falls within a certain amount of hours that you got to complete for the week. Yeah. So you could fool yourself all you want. I get to wake up at 10 on Fridays, but you really still working 10 to 7. But the point I'm trying to make is this. I don't like what she did. I don't like what On Viv did. Because at the end of the day, these are conversations that should be occurring in private.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Amongst the black community, right? But now that it's out in the public, right? These two individuals.
Well, do we include Stacey Dash now as well now?
I see it like this. These are 3 people. You know what I'm saying? We're representative of a nation, of a group, of a sea of black people. And so how we as a group of people, not just 3 isolated incidents, but us as a group of people, how do we address that? And how do we address that on a public platform? When we could be like, you know what, sister? We understand what you're saying to a degree, but come here. Let me give you a hug, right? I want to invite you to a talk. And then when they come in here and the mics is off and the cameras is off, we could beat the hell out of them. Like, yo, you wildin' for that. We could talk how we talk.
Listen, wait, Ian's standing up.
But listen,
I'm just saying that in the
constructive feedback when people aren't like all watching.
No, not even that. I'm just saying out in the public, we have to move in love. Because at the end of the day, like, love is the only thing that's gonna like triumph all this. You know what I'm saying?
Sound like did you guys see the response that Jada Pinkett gave for Unveiled?
No, I missed it.
It's on Entertainment Tonight.
What, can you give us a
what did she say?
Yeah, so basically they caught her coming out of the airport and they were like, what do you have to say?
Who, TMZ?
And she probably just like
Entertainment Tonight.
Same thing.
Yeah, so she comes out and she's just like, well, it's basically all love, She sees it from a different perspective.
That's beautiful.
I see it from a different perspective.
Beautiful.
I hope that we can come together.
You got my number.
And she was basically like, I hope, the sister, we can come together. Like I said before, it's nothing but love. So, and I agree.
I'll read the quote. I hope that we as African Americans can find a way to get along and step together in this. Right now, specifically with African American people, we have some very serious issues that I think that we as a people have to move together on. So I'm hoping that we can find ways to step together instead of finding ways to fight each other. And I ain't mad.
I'm gonna say this. You know what I mean? And
I ain't mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Like, we're not always gonna agree. And when I think of that, I think of a situation of me and T. And I think that and T may or may not like that because me and T are very private people. As individuals, we're very private. But he and I shared a moment where we disagreed. And it wasn't the most beautiful of pictures. But still we're friends, you know what I'm saying? And still we work through that.
See, that's what people don't know how to do.
Right.
Like, people, that's one thing that, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's one thing that kind of pisses me off about, like, growing up and, like, the education system and, like, people always, like, when I was coming up, I won, you lost. You're not getting a prize because you lost. Nowadays, everybody's a winner. Everybody won, but you didn't really win. You see what I'm saying? There's no distinction between like winners and losers, and that creates an environment where people don't really understand.
My stance is always right.
Yeah,
I don't know anything
or
other than
like,
right.
or
There's
even
no
so, even so, it's like, well, you have your opinion, I have my opinion, so we're all right. No, everybody isn't always right. We can agree to disagree, but then people don't. They're gonna fight to the death of it. Like, right. I said this, and I mean that. People don't want to like bow down and just say, okay, you know what? We might not agree on these two separate points, and then maybe in the black community, this is kind of off topic, but in the black community, maybe we all need to have like a big expo and say, listen, here are the 3 things that we are going to agree on. We're going to agree on this, and we're gonna agree on this, and we're gonna agree on
Yes, I agree.
I'm fine with disagreeing. It's just that we have to do it in love and not in emotional. Like, and so when I think
to be constructive and not hateful.
Right.
Yeah,
and so when I think
down.
of you, when I think of your guys on We Need a Revolution, right? I don't know if it was OG that was very like fervent. He was very fervent about it.
So for some reference, that was an episode we did a couple months ago.
Do your homework.
And we are talking about the Million Man March,
right?
And we talked specifically just about.
I was out there.
He said he'll never go back.
I was out there,
never go back because there were so many things that we could have done through that movement that we didn't do.
He's right.
We did a lot of talking and a lot of
and
propaganda.
more action items that
there wasn't any problem.
But I think that always happens. Yeah. Now that's the high horse I always get on, because there's been countless times since I have been newly awoken and I've sat down and I've had these conversations for hours on end and it's beating a dead horse. And the last conversation we have at the end of it is what are you doing about it, or what are we to do about it?
Right.
And that's when the crickets come in, and that's when everyone's too busy, and that's when no one has time, and that's when all the issues come up, and it's like, well,
I'll tell you where to go. I'll tell you to go to Revolution Books on 132nd.
If we don't live in the city, where should we go? They're online?
Well, they're online. So online is RevCon, REVCON.US. So if you don't have Revolution Books in your state, then you can always go to the website and pick up the work that they do. And so like Ray, you're woke, and I can tell that. And I'm telling you right now, we're all a walk away from Rev Books, and we can go there, and that's the soil that's necessary to cultivate these kind of conversations.
So I think that's a good note to end this episode.
Damn, what?
Wait, this.
Yo, everybody wants to keep
conference
going.
season.
And I'm
fabulous.
But we gonna get
fabulous.
Okay, so next episode, which we're gonna still record right now, but it'll be for episode 20.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Nice. It'll be as fun. Yo, get ready. We transitioning from the conscious tip to the So what y'all doing with y'all relationships?
Yeah, so stay tuned. Thank you for listening. We hope you made it through this whole thing.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Shout out to all of
Shout out to Eva over here dropping all this knowledge.
We so dope, we get a part 2. To be continued.
Shout out to everybody who's reading books.
Reading books.
Separate knowledge. Ray's holding up a literal book right now.
Listen, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter.
Black_meets_world.
Or Black Meets World on Twitter. Send us an email with your thoughts about this episode. And
blackmeetsworld@gmail.com.
Send us any thoughts you have at all. We appreciate y'all listening.
We really do. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.